What's good, peeps? Thanks as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. Alright, Nathan Gorman versus Daniel Dubois this Saturday, O2 Arena, live on BT Sports. There you go, quick plug. Two unbeaten prospects. So as they say in the game, someone's O has got to go, unless it's a draw. Could be, right? It's a shame that neither of these guys are very big in terms of hyping a fight up, because this probably should be a bit bigger than it is. I think this is a very good matchup between two very contrasting styles, and this really should be as big as, I don't know, what was the last very good prospect match we had in the UK? Big one. James DeGale, George Groves was big, right? And look how big that was. I think that sold out the O2 Arena. That had a bit of everything. I guess it had a bit more because they were, I guess, enemies, so to speak. I guess they were. And they had a couple of fights in the amateurs and so on and so forth. And one went to the Olympics, one didn't. So it had a bit more to it. But both of those guys were very, very good at selling their product. Sky pushed it a lot. Remember those interviews on Ringside? And unfortunately, these guys aren't like that. Which is a shame. I mentioned it on the Joe Joyce video I did, which should be up now. That it's unfair on these guys to have to be good at doing this, right? It's unfair, right? No other sports persons are judged on how they sell a product. You just get in there, whether it be on the football pitch or whatever, you get in there and do your job, come off. These guys have to try and sell, and we laugh at them when they're shit at selling. The face-off between these guys in terms of that little face-off that they done, which I don't think you have to do with everyone, by the way. I mean, this has become a regular occurrence. This was only for big fights. I remember when Max Kellerman used to do it. I don't know if he still does. It felt like it was only for big blockbuster fights. Now, I mean, we're going to fucking get it for Southern Area battles. So we don't need to do it. If the guys don't know how to talk, forget it. And unfortunately, Daniel Dubois and Nathan Gorman is watching paint dry in terms of their talking. In terms of their boxing, that's another thing. But credit to both guys before we start the video, even though we've a couple of minutes in already, for taking the fight. They could have gone separate ways and met up, I don't know, a couple of years down the line for maybe a fringe world title belt. They could have still kept on doing the European cab driver route, but they are meeting up. They're meeting up early, and it's good, right? It's not a case of, you know, one loses and that's it. I mean, again, let's go back to the George Groves, James DeGale scenario. James DeGale lost that, went on to become a world champion, had a very good career, some very good fights in America, and you can still build yourself. It's how you build yourself up after the loss. And I think both will have decent careers. I'm not sure. I mean, a lot of people talk about Daniel Dubois potentially becoming a world heavyweight champion because of his power. I mean, you get to the top level, you need a lot more than power. I mean, it's good. I mean, but we saw Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz. It's not all about power. You need a bit more than that. And I think it'll be good to see how Daniel Dubois gets on with the movement and the skill set of Nathan Gorman. And likewise, it'll be good to see how Nathan Gorman gets on when he gets hit by Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois can fucking hit. If he tags you clean, good luck. Good bloody luck. I like this. I guess the thought process going in is boxer versus puncher. Everyone's been talking about that, boxer versus puncher. But I think it's a bit more than that. I mean, I don't think Daniel Dubois is that bad a boxer. And I think Nathan Gorman can hit. So I think there's a bit more than that. But I guess we are, if we make it very basic, Daniel Dubois is the puncher, Nathan Gorman is the boxer. Nathan Gorman is the boxer, but he needs to improve on his conditioning a lot. I mean, I have seen him in the face-to-face and the head-to-head, and he does look like he's trimmed up a bit. But I think he needs to lose a bit more weight. People might say, oh, but Andy Ruiz is fat. That's Andy Ruiz. We're talking about Nathan Gorman. He needs to lose a bit more weight, and his conditioning needs to be better. In the fights against Kevin Johnson and, I can't remember the guy's name, they both fought him. Is it Razvan Kajnu or something? The gas tank started to become empty. It started to become empty. Whereas Daniel Dubois, although he's very muscle bound, he's more of the athlete, I think. And it looks like he's got the gas tank to keep going, which is normally the opposite way around. You think a guy that's muscle bound will start to have a lot of lactic acid and start to tire. So it's interesting. He looks like he has lost a bit of weight. You see him, I mean, hitting the pads with Ricky Hatton. He looks explosive. He looks strong. Looks good. Agility-wise, moves his head a lot. He might need to do that. I don't know where I'm going with this fight, which is probably why I've taken so long to do it, because I'm very, very split on it. I just look at their two opponents they fought. Both went the distance with Kevin Johnson. But in that, again, I can't remember his name. I do apologise. I think it's Ravjan Kajnu. Nathan Gorman went the distance with him. Daniel Dubois destroyed him in 2 rounds. Daniel Dubois doesn't mind a fight as well. Look at his last performance against, I think it was Richard Lartey, I think that guy's name. Fucking hell, Lartey came to fight. And Daniel Dubois was happy to bout on the gum shield and swing. So I'm gonna go Daniel Dubois stoppage here. I'm gonna go Daniel Dubois stoppage, but I wouldn't be shocked. Wouldn't surprise me if Nathan Gorman got him out of there. Don't know why. Okay, we're rambling on a bit here, but I wouldn't be surprised about any fucking outcome. I wouldn't be surprised if Daniel Dubois went on points. I wouldn't be surprised if Nathan Gorman went on point. I wouldn't be surprised if Nathan Gorman stopped Daniel Dubois. I wouldn't be. Daniel Dubois can be a bit reckless. When he does throw punches, he does leave himself wide open. You know what? Fuck that. I'm going Nathan Gorman, late stoppage. Bit of a surprise. I might actually put tenner on that. That might be good odds. Nathan Gorman, late stoppage. Just because I think Daniel Dubois is going to be throwing his haymakers and he's going to be wide open down the middle. And I think Nathan Gorman, again, don't dismiss his punch power. He can punch. I mean, this guy will be walking to the ring about 260 pounds. If he hits you, it hurts. I feel like Nathan Gorman's got enough about him just to time it down the middle and put Daniel Dubois to sleep. So I'm going Nathan Gorman, stoppage, round 9. Put your money on it, £10 on it. I bet you any money that's about 20 to 1. Woo, I made you 210 quid. Thank me later.